All right, here we go. All right, here we go. One second. All right, here we go. So as we all know, Karmelo Anthony was found guilty of first-degree manslaughter. I know I'm late. Got busy. Had a lot going on with the kids. Then we had a family function, wedding out of town, and then a friend of mine died, and been trying to cope with that just a few days ago. So I know I'm behind, but here we go. So we are going to react.
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube and background play. So you go.
And he reported.
Okay, let's rewind this. All right, so we're gonna react, or I'm gonna react to the Karmelo Anthony. A lot of these videos that have come out since the trial. I was gonna do like one long, like 3-hour live stream, but I don't know anybody gonna really sit through that. And there's really no point. So we're gonna keep this kind of short, and I'll just break it up into parts. So then I can kind of get feedback from you guys as we go along here. So first, I'm going to go to my law and crime people because I like to know we need to talk about what actually happened versus what YouTube comment sections are saying. So we're going to react to some of these. I'm going to try to react to videos as we see them as far as the actual case or people connected to the case, again, allegedly, because there's such a gag order on this case. You really can't verify too many stuff. Like there's so much trust me, bro, with this case. It's pathetic. But I try to save some of my reaction to some of these videos, but I just get entrenched in it. Then it's like, all right, let me react to this later on so people get my true and honest reaction in live time. But here we go. So we got law and crime. We're just gonna get right into it.
Karmelo Anthony is now locked away inside a remote Texas prison, staring down a future that could keep him behind bars until he is well into his 50s. A jury branded him a murderer. But now, a new twist is unfolding. Anthony has already filed an appeal, and it's setting the stage for the next chapter of one of the most fiercely debated cases in the country. And I'll show you the filing and the arguments potentially a legal team could bring to try and unravel his conviction. Now, outside of...
They need to. And just so everyone's clear, Karmelo Anthony is innocent of first-degree murder. He is not innocent of manslaughter. For those that don't know, murder is when you intentionally kill someone, like you have the plan to kill someone and it's premeditated, like premeditated, not like, I know there's no definition of premeditation, but, or should I say there's no specific time frame for premeditation, but, excuse me, murder is more of like you plan to and had the intention of killing someone. Manslaughter is when your actions led to the death of someone, whether it be intentional or unintentional. Well, I should say it's unintentional, but your actions could be intentional, if that makes sense. So it's like, sorry, I don't know why I wasn't coughing before, and all of a sudden I am. Probably because I'm talking, but it's like manslaughter would be like, someone gets in your face, they shove you, you shove them back, they fall back and hit their head and they die from it, right? Like your intention wasn't to kill them, but they died due to the shove that you gave them, right? So that would be manslaughter. Now, I know in that example you would argue self-defense, which is very interesting considering what we're talking about here. But anyway, that's an example of manslaughter. So Karmelo is guilty of manslaughter because he did not intend to kill Austin Metcalf, but his actions of, goodness, I don't know why I'm coughing all of a sudden, but his actions did lead to the death of, did lead to the death of Austin. So that's my stance on it.
Prison, the controversy surrounding the story refuses to die. Was justice served, or is there more to the story? Karmelo's parents, they're fighting, and also the judge who oversaw the trial is now speaking out, and he had an unexpected message about Karmelo Anthony that's turning some heads. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
Law and Crime. This is a good channel if you guys just want like a little synopsis of what goes on in certain trials. They do a really good job of kind of giving you the highlights, but also sticking to what is factually correct. I don't know if they have a bias or not. I haven't really detected one. They do a pretty good job of kind of staying fair and balanced.
It took the jury less than 3 hours to find Karmelo Anthony guilty of murder, and then another roughly 3 hours to determine that his punishment would be 35 years in prison. Now, on one hand...
Hold on. I need to check something. I hope this probably won't show up on you guys'... Just bear with me for a second. I just want to make sure. I feel like I've seen this video before. I can't remember if I reacted to it or if I am... if I saw this in my spare time. I feel like I have reacted to this. I gotta check something off channel here. Yeah, I think I did. Hang on. I hate to do this, but I have to. I need to see who the guy who reacts to this is. Oh, no, I have not. Okay. This is a new one, which I thought it was.
Unexpected message about Karmelo Anthony that's turning some heads. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. It took the jury less than 3 hours to find Karmelo Anthony guilty of mention since the verdict earlier this week. And I'm going to update you on everything that is developing right now. And Jesse Weber, host of Sidebar here on Law and Crime, he's going to be with me here in just a moment to talk through how this trial went and what an appeal potentially could look like.
Y'all wrong. I swear to God, I'm sick of this. I'm tired of this.
Now, this is video here of the group that was outside the courthouse in McKinney, Texas, the day of the verdict earlier this week, where we did see some tension. I also want to show you this. This is the new mugshot that we received of Karmelo Anthony since he is now in state prison in Texas. You can see in this mugshot, he has his head shaved. Now, we have learned that Karmelo will begin serving his prison sentence here, the Wallace Pack unit in Navasota, Texas. It's roughly 3.5 hours away from where he stabbed Austin Metcalf to death at that track meet in Frisco, outside Dallas in April of 2025. What we know about this prison, it's all males. It is roughly 1,500 inmates, and it's a minimum security prison. Now, Karmelo Anthony has wasted no time in filing a notice of appeal, and we found a line in the document pretty surprising. Now, this is the notice of appeal. It's filed in Collin County District Court. That's where the trial took place. And in the notice, it says, quote, "I am penniless, destitute, and indigent person, too poor to employ counsel to represent me on the appeal, and too poor to pay for or give security of the statement of facts and a true copy thereof herein." So Anthony wants a court.
Speaking of that, I'm surprised that he worded it like that. Hey, Kishar, or Kishar, I don't know how to say your name. What's up? Yeah, so when it comes to him pleading for his case like that, I'm very surprised that he worded it like that. I mean, I get it, but this does kind of beg the question as to what happened to all that GoFundMe money. I know that was used to pay for the lawyer who's now, which we'll get into that later. I've seen some videos that lawyer is pretty sketchy. And then also, that's not the same lawyer that they had the first time around. I remember that. Like, they had that black attorney, and then he's like, no, we're going to trial. We can win this. And all of a sudden, I heard another video. I'll probably react to it here in a bit if I can re-find it. I've seen a lot of videos since this case is kind of wrapped. But they were advised to get a white attorney, saying that will like help their case. And then all of a sudden there's these, the white attorney knows the judge and the judge knows the prosecutor, and like they're all friends, and they're all friends with Metcalf's dad. It's like, whoa. Which again, a lot of this is, I'm gonna say some of it's speculation. There have been receipts that the judge and the Austin Metcalf's dad know each other, as well as the prosecution. Take that for what you will. I guess we can kind of touch on it here, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
appointed attorney for his appeal. And at 19, I mean, you kind of understand. I mean, he's just graduated high school. He's legally an adult. He's now a prison inmate, so it's not a surprise that he doesn't have the money to afford an attorney. But it also raises some questions about the hundreds of thousands of dollars that was raised for his criminal defense. And criminal defense is not cheap. Now, initially, there was a fundraiser last year around the time of his arrest that was put up.
Yeah, this guy. That was the original attorney. I don't know why they switched attorneys. I know why, but like, why would they go with that counsel? Like, that's crazy.
On GoFundMe.
I mean, it's like, oh, get a white attorney. I mean, I get it. It's Texas, blah, 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 blah. But if you know someone's going to go hard in the paint for you as far as the law is concerned, you always want somebody who's going to do that. You don't want to hire someone who's new to the crew.
But that was quickly taken down because GoFundMe has a policy where you can't raise money for people who are accused of violent crimes.
Give, Send, Go money
does not have that
crazy
policy. But after Anthony's guilty verdict in that murder trial, the site brought his fundraiser down. And the reason they said was, quote, the fundraiser was to promote pretrial needs. And those funds were dispersed over the past year for lawful purposes, including legal defense and family relocation. With that stated purpose now complete, the fundraiser has been closed. So the notice of appeal tells us that Anthony would like a court-appointed attorney for his appeal, but it doesn't tell us yet why he is appealing. What would the grounds be for an appeal? We do know, though.
Well, that's easy what the grounds for an appeal would be. You don't think that the verdict was correct. I mean, if I got found guilty of first-degree murder and I thought that, no, I wasn't guilty of first-degree murder, I would definitely appeal. Like, that's an open and shut point. I don't know. Maybe they just need more content. But, yeah, that's crazy. I would invest it in Elon Musk SpaceX. I hear that's going to be a rug pull, but I don't know. I'm not going to invest in it. I hate Elon Musk, which that's a video for another day. But, yeah.
Through some interviews that his parents gave to two outlets that we know about after the verdict, they were not happy with the defense of their son. I will tell you, we have reached out to Karmelo Anthony's parents to come on the show as well. But I do want to run through some of the quotes that they gave in these interviews. Now, in the interviews, they have stood by their son. Not a surprise. They say they do not believe that he intended to kill Austin Metcalf. Quote, my son is no murderer. My son didn't intend to hurt anyone. My son was defending himself. That's Karmelo's mom, Kayla Hayes, telling CBS Texas. Now, Karmelo's parents also say they believe the trial was flawed and unfair. Quote, everyone actually lied on the stand, says Karmelo's mom. Now, there was another interview they gave with the Breakfast Club, Power 105.1 FM. It was posted to YouTube.
I swear I've probably reacted to this before. But anyway, I wouldn't doubt if people lied on the stand. I think I've mentioned this before in one of my other two reaction videos. And for those who don't know, if you've watched the Karen Reed case that was like, I think 1.5 years, 2 years ago at this point, there was full of grown adults who lied on the stand, and that didn't even have anything to do with race. That ended up that was about the death of police officer John O'Keefe in a suburb of Boston, or may have been Boston. I think it was a suburb of Boston though. And there was all sorts of perjury. Like if you just watch the case in live time, people's eyewitness testimony of people who were actually there the night that Officer O'Keefe got killed were contradicting each other left and right. So acting like people won't lie on the stand is absurd. So people are like, oh, a witness came forward and said this. Like that doesn't mean anything.
And there, Karmelo's parents talked about how they would have potentially approached
Indiana comment section. If people aren't reading the comment section, who go back to the playback, somebody asked, what state am I from? We're from Indiana. I'm from Indiana.
The legal side of the case differently. They said that they do not believe their son got a fair trial. Quote, we got comfortable with the instructions that we were told. We were told not to say nothing. We were told not to do this, so we followed all the instructions that we were told. We were told, don't do this. Don't talk to this person. It was all this, and look what happened to my son, said Karmelo's dad, Drew Anthony, in that interview.
Yeah, parents should know better. Like, I get that you were given certain counsel for stuff, but like you live in Texas, you know what time it is, right? It's like, oh no, get a white attorney and then trust this and trust that. It's like, no. Go with the people who you have and then go from there. I'd like to know who suggested this. That sounds pretty sketchy. And also, I question Karmelo's parents in their decision to do that. That's I don't know. That's beyond me. I wouldn't have done that.
Now, Karmelo's dad also said that his son was told that they should not make this case about race, and that was by their attorney. But he said that he believed that race played a role in the outcome. He said the family was advised to get a white attorney. It's unclear.
Yeah, there it is. Like that's wild. That is absolutely wild to me. I mean, I don't doubt that was given to them, but them accepting that is, I don't know.
Clear who gave that advice. Now, the family also raised.
All right, I'm sorry. I think I've reacted to this before. I'm going to switch gears here. Let's find another video. Where did my search bar go? I'm gonna leave this up right now. I need a whatchamacallit. I heard they spent 75 grand on their lawyer, but I don't know if that's true or not. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't heard how much they spent on the on legal counsel, but I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't even doubt if it's more than that, especially with the high profileness of this case and like what it turned into. All right, we'll just go with this one here. I will share this tab. All right, so this is a guy who I found. He has 571,000 subscribers, Dane Calloway. I've never heard of this guy before until literally today. I watched another one of his videos. I kind of like this I liked his style of delivery, so I'm gonna react to this video. I think I
put in a freedom of information request for something that's not federal. This is all local. Yeah. What they did was something similar though, and it was like an open rap.
I want to go back to this because I was kind of watching my kids at the time. Here, we'll skip past the intro. Yeah, here we go. This looks like start.
Getting into a lot of things here that I have on my screens, and we're going to be breaking down some information dealing with this topic of Karmelo Anthony. More and more things are trying to come out now, including Caucasian people. I'm going to be showing those videos for you here and coming from other creditable sources. I'm going to...
Yeah, and for those who probably saw my other video, I'm going to continue to do the coverage of Black creators versus white creators. You can kind of throw this one in, but I kind of want to go back through like what's true and what's not true. Probably should have put this under the fact versus fiction title. I might change the title of the stream to better reflect that. But yeah.
Show you something because I did see that a lot of people were complaining about his new intake picture or his new inmate picture. And they're right. They're right. After some digging, I found this out and they're trying to keep this hidden, but I did find this out. So I'm going to scroll down here. It says on Wednesday, he was transported to TDCJ, where another new booking photo was taken. And that's the one where you see that he's bald. This is the reason why people were so upset. They was like, oh, they made him cut his hair. Keep in mind, his hair was already cut low, but I get it. They made him bald. So it's
yeah, that's crazy. I'll back up a little bit because yeah, like if your hair is like this, they let you have that in jail. They actually let you have the kind of hairstyle that he had before in jail. So making him like bald like this is wild. Like this is kind of what makes me also reinforce. Sorry, this is what kind of reinforces to me that there's something going on here. Like they made him do this. Like he's not even in like a yellow or orange, whatever color it is for murder jumpsuit. Like what is this? Like you got like a low cut V-neck. Like what's this? Looks more like a model photo. Like some weird situation kind of photo, but I don't know. Anyway, we'll let this guy go.
Says after intake, he was transported to his unit of assignment at the PAC unit near Navasota. So after intake, he was transported, and that's the part that stuck out. I was like, okay, so let me look this up. There is a process that they go through. They go to this place called the Bird Unit, which is in Huntsville. And after that, as far as processing is concerned, and then they'll go to the PAC unit, which is the Navasota one that you see here. Okay, this is upsetting to see, but here's the reason why this is upsetting. What you see here, what I'm showing you here is the senior warden of that particular facility, the Bird unit that's in Huntsville. So he had to go here first for processing. Notice the senior warden's name is Talon Metcalf. He went here.
That's crazy. I wonder if that's the actual relation or if this is one of those, his name just happens to be Metcalf. I don't know.
And this was before he was transferred to the PAC unit. If we go back to the article, if you read down, it says authorities generally do not publicly disclose inmate transportation details before a transfer occurs or security reasons. Now it says reports, Sean Robb reported that inmates are typically transported with other prisoners and may take several stops or may make several stops before arriving in Huntsville for intake and classification. So that confirms that he's there with that. And that's a conflict of interest. I don't know if they have any relation. I cannot verify that. I don't know if he's related to the other Madcasts within that area. I'm not exactly sure, but
good. I like the fact that he brought that up. All right, so this guy might do his research.
There's a strong
500,000 subscribers. I hope he does his research. Like, look at this. Like, these are a lot of tabs up here. That's killer. I like it though.
Possibility because he ended up coming out of Huntsville with a bald head. So that's to answer everybody's question about that. You are correct in wondering what happened here, and it had to happen in between him being transported, because he was immediately as soon as they gave the guilty verdict, they immediately started the process to put him in jail. Like less than 24 hours, he was already at the facility. Like usually you would think that he would stay at the county jail, but no. They immediately started moving him. And I think, this was done to humiliate him. This is unfortunate. This is another reason why you could tell something is up. And to make matters worse, here's the judge in this case. Like right after that, he decides to do an interview. Judge Roach, the judge that oversaw Karmelo Anthony's case.
Judge Roach? That's, I'm not saying that's telling or that your last name defines, goodness, sorry, that your last name defines your character or who you are, but that's very interesting if that's his last name. Look at his face. Like, if you told me he was corrupt, I wouldn't be like, no, he isn't. Like, I'd be like, yeah, this is a usual suspect's face, or central casting, as they say. Anyway.
Conducting an interview. When have you...
I don't know. Somebody in the comment section later, let us know, is processing and going to prison right after you get convicted normal? Because in the cases I've seen, that's normal. Like, it's like, all right, arrest them, book them, and send them off. But I don't know that process. Never been to jail or prison. Don't know anybody who's been to prison. Well, that closely. So I don't know. Let me know in the comment section.
Ever seen this? Out of my years of life so far, I have never seen anything like this before. This is a judge giving an interview this close to the end of a verdict and kind of just being like yeah, whatever, it is what it is, get out of my face. That's pretty interesting to me. I don't know. I don't know many judges who would do that. Jurors, yes. Witnesses, yes. People like that, yes. But not a judge. Prosecution and defenses usually, depending on which way it goes, they might give an interview this soon. But a judge, that's interesting. Alarming.
No.
Can I say how much I hate YouTube ads and these little interruptions? So annoying.
Look, I've been doing this for 20 years.
Right at
a lot of the witnesses come in all shapes and sizes and colors and all that. And so that was normal for me. What wasn't normal for me is to have those witnesses be intimidated by things being said on social media, because those young people rely on social media more than I certainly do. And so that sure impacted me to make sure that they did not change their testimony. They were willing to come in and tell the truth without fear of being doxxed or swatted and stuff. And so I took every precaution that I could, consistent with the law, to make that happen.
I know Steve brought it up too, and I know both sides probably brought it up as well. The AI images.
Okay, I'm going to look into that to see if he says anything that's worthy of listening to. But I just found this to be alarming, that he decided to do an interview. Like, I mean, as a judge, we never see anything like that before. So
yeah, same. I agree. Same. That is odd. Again, not saying that he is or isn't guilty of something. And he said that he said that he had to do what he had to do to make sure that nobody changed their testimony. With these conflict of interest, I don't think that a testimony, I don't think that his influence is, how do I say this? I think that they already had their stories before they even got to trial, right? Like, I think the Metcalf and Metcalf friends and the, all these little weird connections, I'm pretty sure that they fired up the whole, hey, when you take the stand, say this and commit to this story. Otherwise, some bad things will happen to you. I wouldn't doubt if that happened. Again, the Karen Reed trial, we already know the people lie on the stand. And it just depends on how much the jury and how much the judge, jury, and prosecutors want to pay attention to that. Right. Because I mean, again, like people have already decided that Carmelo Anthony was guilty before this even went to trial. And if, the jury thought that, going into this, then it really doesn't matter what the eyewitness testimony was. They all could have said, yeah, Austin Metcalf had it coming. And if the jury feels as though same way a lot of people in these YouTube comment section feels, they'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, first degree murder. So, take that for what it's worth when it comes to jury testimony. But yeah.
Now I'm getting ready to play a lot more videos that were sent to me inside of the 13% community server, in which it's free. You could join right now using the link in the description. Also, I believe this is probably going to be the only segue that I could utilize to my sponsor. My new book is here, The Quiet Blueprint of Wealth.
Believe it.
A bunch of CaucasianInc.com. All right, so in these next videos, you're going to see a bunch of Caucasians or white Americans, whatever you want to call them, stating some interesting takes here.
Secret Service Sam here with a Karmelo Anthony, Austin Metcalf update. Here is an email I have obtained. I believe it to be real. Just listen to this. One of the cheerleaders complaining about the twins. Coaches, the other cheerleaders and
remember what they said? They said that Carmelo has a history of violence and Carmelo has a criminal record and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, here we have this guy talking about he has an email complaining about the Metcalfs. And again, only YouTube comment sections are the ones saying this. Like, I still have not come across anybody saying that Carmelo Anthony had a history of criminal activity. Like, no YouTuber has really said that outside of people who just want him to be guilty. I've never seen any credible evidence of that. But here we have a guy who's clearly reading from something. I mean, we'll take it for what it's worth, but judging by the, hey, Carmelo got jumped, the Metcalfs were bullies. As I said before in my video a year ago, anybody who, like when what's his brother Hunter, the one who's still alive, he's like, yeah, man, Melo was talking reckless. It's like, as a person who's been in a few fist fights, anyone who uses the phrase talking reckless is usually an agitator. And that's why when they're like, oh, the Metcalf twins ganged up on them with some other people, that doesn't shock me at all. So now we have this guy talking about a cheerleader because, they played football. So the cheerleaders and football players at the high school level, they know each other, obviously, and they probably know each other's behavior-ish enough. So let's hear what this guy has to say. I've already seen this, so I kind of know what he's going to say, but I find it interesting that he has a email complaining about the Metcalfs. This is prior to the whole Carmelo situation, but let's hear what he has to say.
I have tried to make an effort to stay supportive and spirited throughout the football season. However, the disrespect we feel coming from some of the football players is making it very difficult. Today, after our game against Liberty, some of us cheerleaders in uniform went to Cane's. While talking amongst ourselves about the loss,
Cane's is a chicken restaurant for those who may not have Cane's in their area. We just got Cane's here maybe about 2-3 years ago, I think, is roughly when it hit Indiana, or at least that's when I found out about it. But that's what he's talking about. And they say they went to Cane's. For those who may not have Cane's yet, it's a chicken restaurant. It's like a Chick-fil-A. I hear it's better than Chick-fil-A. I haven't had it, but that's what Cane's is.
Calf stood up and yelled that my friend and fellow varsity cheerleader is a fat bitch. I don't understand what triggers his rages, but to yell this unprovoked made us all really upset.
Trigger his rage. Oh, so that means his rages. That means he has a history of violence. Okay. Continue, good sir.
It was incredibly embarrassing for my friend, as everyone is in Cane's looked at her and started laughing. We see the Metcalfs act out time and time again, but we trust that there is no repercussions or some sort of consequence, so we stay out of it. But for it now to be directed towards one of the people that shows up to...
Oh, so the Metcalfs have a history of this kind of violent behavior, like, not physically violent, but rude and obnoxious behavior, and nothing is done about it. I wonder why. So then that would explain how the, dad can know the judge and all these different people, and, everyone, finds Carmelo guilty, But before I jump the gun on that, because I do believe that Carmelo is railroaded, but I'll let some of these other videos present the evidence that makes me think that, because some people have kind of covered it and some haven't, but here we go. But I find it interesting that some cheerleaders say that, they have a history of this, and there's a history of nothing being done about it.
every game to support and cheer them on is astounding to me. After they left Canes, one of the other football players told us that Hunter said his hands were bisexual, implying that he would not only hit guys, but also girls.
That's kind of funny. I ain't gonna lie. But again, they have a history of violence. So here you go. So Karmelo doesn't have a history of violence. The Metcalfs do. So there we go. Them putting their and we already know from the trial, Austin put his hands on Karmelo. We already know that. That's undeniable. That's in the police affidavit, right? According to eyewitness testimony at the time before anyone's pressured to say or not say anything. So here we go. Austin has a history of violence. Austin and Hunter have a history of violence. Point blank, period.
Is not embarrassed, but genuinely scared, especially after seeing the way he can act on the field. I'm only coming to you because I feel that you should be aware that he is acting like this in public spaces, which is not good for our school's representation and is discouraging us
talking about Hunter, by the way.
Cheerleading them on. I'm sorry for even having to come to you about this, but after tonight, it truly feels like it's getting out of hand. I recognize that he may be upset that we lost, but there is no justification for the way he treated my friend tonight. I would also appreciate for my name to stay confidential, as I fear what they would do if they knew.
I wonder if they means Austin and Hunter or the Metcalf family. But either way, there you go. So the Metcalfs, whether it be the boys or their family, they have a history of intimidation. Right, for this cheerleader to sit here and say, "Oh no, I want to know what I want to know, or I want to remember. Sorry, I want to remain anonymous." Very interesting. So again, they have an influence to where it's plausible that people will lie on the stand for them. Again, these are bullies.
This almost
damn ads again.
Okay.
Why did Mike Howard not enter this in Karmelo Anthony's defense? There's so much.
Yeah, right there. Why didn't the defense use this? This shows the character of the Metcalfs. Again, like, oh, you need to get a white attorney. Let me guess, an attorney that's friends with the prosecution. Yeah, because that's something that a defense would do, is like not have this into evidence defending your client. Stop it. More evidence is Karmelo's railroaded.
That has been left out of this trial, that we will keep it awake, and I will always.
This is another thing. I really believe that the defense attorney was purposely paid off, like completely. I believe.
Same, absolutely. I'm going to stick to that until there's otherwise, until there's evidence to the contrary.
Believe the defense attorney was completely paid off. There's no way he should have lost this. So many loopholes, so many holes that he actually could have filled in as far as the defense is concerned when it comes.
Henry comes in talking about he slipped on the banana peel and fell on the knife. Yeah, we'll get to that. Probably in another video. I've already been live for 30 minutes, but interesting. Yeah, it's like I knew that my videos would attract the racist part. You know, the same racists that I'm told constantly don't exist in America. Yeah. This is exposing him. You can't help yourselves.
To Karmelo Anthony's case, this was completely self-defense, especially based off of the people witnessing the video.
Again, completely self-defense, but also still manslaughter. We can't ignore that, right? I mean, Karmelo did purposely choose a object that was sharp enough to cause damage. So again, guilty of manslaughter, not guilty of first-degree murder.
Not the distorted version that they saw in court. They said it was blurry. They really couldn't see it inside of the court. But the people that went to the school to go see it, and they were being.
Yeah, still waiting on that video footage, which I know it'll be leaked. I'm going to see if I can try to, if I find a video of it leaked, I'm probably just going to go live immediately to document it so that it doesn't get lost. Because I know as soon as that video comes out, it's going to immediately get banned and flagged and et cetera and so forth, especially if it proves Karmelo's innocence after the verdict's already been given.
Accompanied by police and security and the superintendent and the district representative to watch the video. Man, I'm going to get into more of that video in a second, probably in the next video. But in this video, this is very interesting to point out. If this is an email coming from a cheerleader that goes to the exact same school, that attends the exact same school as the twins, and she's actually filing a complaint on behalf of her friend because of the twins acting up, well, at least Hunter in this sense, this is grounds to take a look at. This is grounds to say, hey, maybe we should investigate more here.
If Karmelo Anthony had been white, not only would he have not been convicted, there'd have never been charges. So
Facts. Absolute facts. I haven't posted all of my police reaction videos, but that's absolutely true. This would just be an unfortunate circumstance. This case is 100% racially motivated in the eyes of the public, not probably between Austin and Karmelo, although I'm pretty sure there was some racial undertones. But at the end of the day, I think that this is really just two bullies messing with somebody, and this happened. And now, due to all the strife going on in our country right now, it's been racialized.
Texas Paul, hope your coffee's as good as mine. Well, I hope it's better. I really do. Whole thing was a goddamn tragedy, and it was started by the kid that died. But if Karmelo Anthony had been white and the other kid had been black, right, these same people that are calling Karmelo Anthony a murderer would be celebrating him all over social media as standing up.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's true.
Young man, 14-year-old man by the name of Carmack Belton was his last name.
Oh, yeah. South Carolina. I remember that.
Chased down in South Carolina. Chased. The guy had to chase him and shot him in the back.
Yep.
Guy that shot him was white. Belton was black. That jury said self-defense.
Sure did.
Because he was white. The only reason Karmelo Anthony was convicted was because we are a broken, fucking, bigoted country, and Karmelo Anthony was black.
Facts. Again, some of y'all can come in here and banana peel monkey comments all you want. It is what it is. Like you're proving this guy's point right here, right? It's like, oh. I saw a video by Matt Walsh. I'm going to react to that. I'll probably skip to that one right now, maybe after this. But yeah, the exaggerating and accusing and putting things on Karmelo that are baseless is over the top. Which that's always been the issue with racism, right? Like accusing people of doing things that they haven't done, or that you want them to be guilty of, and then moving forward as though those things are true. Like that's just the history of racism, right? So, like again, Tulsa, Oklahoma, all of the, black men who were hung for, whistling or interacting with white women or saying the wrong thing to a white man, or, a black adult trying to curb the behavior of a out of control little white kid, right? It's that. It's like, oh, this savage came over here and did this, and it's like, oh, it's after he's hung. Oh, sorry, no, he actually didn't. He actually helped save the little boy's life, and it's like, and of course, it's always the little boy who says that when he's like 50, 40 something years after the incident. He's like, oh yeah, my parents told me not to say anything. It's like, okay, this stuff goes on. Even today, as you can see, like this stuff still goes on. Racism hasn't changed that much in America, right? Just it's more polite now. That's pretty much the mentality is still the same.
Any other way you slice this, it would have been self-defense.
It should have been self-defense.
We are that fucking broken.
And anybody out there that wants to go ahead and ride off of what they're saying right now, as far as the reports are concerned, as if this court is actually correct. No, I don't understand some people. They're going to act like the courts don't get it wrong in some cases, especially in cases like this.
You'll be shocked how much our court system get things wrong. You will be surprised, because here's something I learned with the Ahmaud Arbery trial and the Karen Reed trial. If your situation isn't explicitly defined by a law, it can go in your favor or against you, whether you're guilty or not. So like if you do an action that sounds like, let's keep it here. It sounds like manslaughter, then they can say, okay, manslaughter. But if they don't charge you with that, whether it's, okay, you're guilty of, like they charge you with murder, but it's manslaughter, but they don't put manslaughter on the table, then they have to prove whether you murdered someone or not. And if they don't accurately or adequately prove that you didn't murder someone, you can go to jail for murder, despite the fact that there's evidence that it was not murder, right? Now, of course, in Karmelo's situation, you know, some people say, "Oh, that's what happened." No, Karmelo, like manslaughter was put on the table. They just said, "No, we're not gonna acknowledge that. We're gonna keep murder one on the table." But I'm just saying, like, take that scenario off and just say, okay, this is what happened. Is he guilty of murder or not? Point blank, period. And if they don't prove, and if the defense doesn't prove that, you know, you were innocent of murder, then you're going to go to jail for murder, even though you're guilty of manslaughter, but you're not guilty of murder, but you're still going to jail for murder, right? It's like that. It's like if they don't accurately give you the charges, you can get off, or other way around. They'll sit there and say, okay, you're being charged with manslaughter when you really committed first-degree murder. Well, if first-degree murder is not what you're being charged with, and they say, well, you know, you're not guilty of manslaughter, which is true. You would be not guilty of manslaughter, but you are guilty of first-degree murder. Well, then you could get off and go home as a murderer, right? So, like, our judicial system, it's really good when it works, and when certain, you know, scenarios fall within the defined legal parameters, but we still don't have a perfect system. And then also, like, you have to remember, like, there are people who lie on the stand. There's, you know, the misapplication of certain charges. There's the mischaracterization of evidence. There's the keeping out of evidence for whatever reason. Like, I saw that in the Ahmaud Arbery trial. Like, I literally saw the Facebook screenshots of the McMichaels, specifically Travis, and his friends calling, you know, Ahmaud Arbery all sorts of, you know, nigger this, and when you know, we shot that nigger dead in the street, and this, that, and the other. And I'm thinking, oh, they are going to prison over this. And I watched every minute of that trial. Not once did that come up. None of the screenshots came up. None of the people on Facebook, you know, even secondhand, some of their screenshots didn't make it to trial. And I wonder why. And I never even heard the prosecution try to bring it up, and the defense said no, and the judge threw it out in favor of the defense for whatever reason. I didn't even hear that. It was just, nope, they just moved on as though that wasn't a thing. And I'm like, that is crazy to me. I still think justice was served in the Ahmaud Arbery incident because the McMichaels did hunt him down and they were caught lying on the stand. But yeah, like, why wasn't that evidence submitted into court? You know, so, like, we have situations like that where sometimes evidence just isn't submitted into court, which would favor or unfavor either side. And, you know, sometimes it's all, you know, like how it's obtained and things of that nature. But the fact of the matter is the fact that they will kick out evidence based off of things that are kind of irrelevant should give you pause about our legal system. But, you know, again, I don't want to say it is what it is because it should change, but yeah, it is what it is.
But it's purposely done. All we have to do is follow the money, in my opinion, because $600,000, almost $700,000 is missing. Okay, is missing. And I'm not exactly sure where it went. Some people said that the judge ordered it to go to the lawyer, meaning the defense lawyer. I'm still looking into all of that, guys. I'm going to give you an update in the next video about that because, yeah, it's more information coming out and people are sending me things and I'm going to look at them. Now,
yeah, I'm probably going to like and subscribe to this guy. Matter of fact, here, let me do that right now in live time. Here we go. I do want to follow this guy's stuff. See, he made this video 2 days ago. I do want to follow this guy's kind of research to see where that leads, because I like to know as well, like where that money is going. I really haven't followed the money like that because I don't think it really matters. I like to focus more on what actually happened. Because again, I still want this footage. That's my main thing, right? Because footage will tell you all you need to know, and the fact that they still have like this shut down and lock and key over the video footage to me is very telling. And again, the jury deliberated in 3 hours. Like, come on. And again, like, I keep hearing different versions of like, oh yeah, the jury saw this 4K footage, and another one's like, well, you know, it's kind of blurry. You really couldn't make out, and they had to like zoom in and zoom and enhance. And it's like, all right, like what's the truth here? But I gotta use the bathroom. I'm gonna let this guy cook real quick.
Now, this lady here that I'm getting ready to play, they're telling me that she was in the courtroom and she saw the video. Now, I have multiple videos of people that actually saw the video inside of the courtroom and, of course, outside of the courtroom. I'm going to be getting into more detail about that particular part probably in the next video, but I just want to play her portion because what she says, we heard before, too. Listen to what she says right in the beginning.
But he never killed that child. He failed. Yes. He fell on him, and the knife he had the knife in his hand.
Well, it wasn't a knife.
What was was it?
It was a tool that they tighten up their track cleats with.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, so he never bought a knife.
Yeah.
So that came out in the courtroom yesterday. That,
it never was a knife.
You don't want to sit down?
Richard, can I have my
See, that's interesting because plenty of people were saying that it was a tool and not a knife. It was a tool to. This guy said to.
Yeah, tool, not a knife. I'm not sure what I believe on that. I believe it was a knife. They said it was a blade. The responding officer said in his affidavit that it was a knife. Them saying it was a tool to fix cleats against a track meet. I mentioned it before. I ran track. There is no sharp object used to clean spikes or to change the spikes in spikes. And again, they're not cleats. We don't call them cleats in the track world. They're called spikes. There's no sharp tool that is used to do that on either side of changing the spikes or cleaning your spikes. So I'm not sure where it's coming from, and I think people are kind of making up stuff again.
Fix the cleats, but people said that it was the tool to clean the cleats. Don't forget that it was raining out there that day, really bad.
Down, I'll be happy. Yes. But anyhow, that's what I'm here for, and I was hoping the card is not out yet.
Right. We're probably going to get out around 6 o'clock.
That's what I thought. That's what they said, and we've got another hour. And I just want to, I'm not going to, what's your name? Kathy.
Thank you.
Chessie.
And sir, thank you so much.
Okay, so this was in between.
Thank y'all.
Before the verdict. Okay. They were just taking a break.
Thank you. Okay, so it was the cleat. And he had that in his hand.
Yeah, the tool is like a little tool like this, like a screwdriver.
So he was innocent
completely, because you're allowed to have that tool as a track athlete to tighten up your cleats.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Again, there is no sharp object that tightens up your cleats. So for those that don't know, you can look up. It comes in many different forms, but there's a hole that works like a kind of like a reverse screwdriver, and you put that over the spike and you twist it. Right, it usually comes like in like a rectangular shape that has like little circles on it. You can just Google it, like a spike key is what we call it. And it's not sharp. It's never sharp. Right? Like it comes like the metal part kind of comes down to a point, but I use point very loosely because it has to be the size of a spike, which the size of a spike is like 1/8 of an inch wide. So like that's not enough for you to like jab somebody and it pierce all the way down to your heart. Like I don't know who's coming up with this. Like he had a knife. It is what it is, right? Or a object that was close enough to a knife. But again, the guy said it was a foldable knife or retractable knife. I think it was foldable. But yeah, like it was a foldable blade. Like it was a knife. We can stop with it was used to clean your spikes. A spike key is not used to clean your spikes. It's meant to change your spikes, full stop. There is no in between.
Okay, so to tighten up the cleats. Now hold on. She said that he fell on that.
Okay, and he had it in his hand, and the other kid fell on that.
I can say fell on it. But if we're being completely honest, with four guys like wailing on you, and they're overpowering,
See?
Oh, you want it.
Okay, so she said that she saw him fall on it. Now, she's not the only person, by the way, that they saw the court video where somebody fell onto whatever it was, if it was a knife or a tool to fix the cleats, a tool to clean the cleats, whatever. She's not the only one. But let's keep it pushing because there's some more information that is coming out. I'm looking into all of this stuff at the same time. I'm going to be updating you guys on things that I find.
Yeah, that's another thing. How do you fall on a knife and it pierces your heart? Like I got questions about that. And what video is clear enough to where you can see that happening?
As far as the video, why can't we see the video? And people were like,
thank you, sir. Why can't we see the video at this point? Let's go. Bring it out.
Dane, you know how to do the Freedom of Information request. Put in a Freedom of Information request. Let me explain. You can't put in a Freedom of Information request for something that's not local. What they did was something similar though, and it was like an open records lookup. They're not accepting it right now. They stopped accepting requests. Now, keep in mind, we were just, or at least I was just informed about this situation dealing with this case the day that it started becoming popular, a couple of days or maybe a week before the trial. And by that time, it was too late. This happened in 2025. That's why I was like, wait a minute, why are we just hearing about this now? You know, it's just crazy because all of a sudden it went viral. I'm like, okay, let me try to hurry up. But yeah, I think it's probably going to be too late for me to try to.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know about this case. I told my wife about this case, and she's pretty up to date with certain things, and she never heard of this case. So I'm not sure if this is just a certain, you know, if your algorithm makes you hear about this case, but most Black people I know have commented about this. But anyway.
Grab that video now because they probably already edited it, you know, redacted a whole bunch of stuff, and that's probably what they showed the jury on top of that. But I mean, I did try anyway, and no, it's no getting that right now. They're not accepting requests, which is odd to me because technically it's not. I mean, it is the property of the state. I get that, but that should be made public. That should be public information. That should be open to everyone. But I know they're trying to utilize the excuse that minors were involved in the video. Then block them out. Then blur them out. We just want to see the incident without it being edited. We just want to see the incident. That's it. But we'll see how it goes. I did hear some rumors that it was some people that did get a chance to record. One person did get in trouble for doing that, but one other person didn't. We're going to see if that's going to somehow, you know, hit the internet some type of way. All right, here's the next one right here I wanted to play.
How's everybody doing?
We're going to skip this. He kind of already talks about it. I think he finishes the video with this guy. Yeah, this video, this guy says some things in the video that are plausibly deniable. And this guy says that, you know, he's going to look into what a lot of these things that this guy says. And I also agree. You guys can watch this on your own. Again, check out. This is Dane Calloway, 571,000 subscribers. This video was 2 days ago, 36,000 views. We're stopping it at the 1651 mark. So if you guys want to listen to this guy's commentary, you can. I'm going to stop it there. I've been here for about an hour, and I need to go do something else. So that's why I made this a part one. But anyway, I'll react to some more stuff here later. And we will go from there, kind of debunking some more narratives. All right, have a good one.